Hey there, happy Tuesday. I want to share a thought about fear. I've been sort of really considering this concept of fear recently. If you've been following along, you know that I've been going through significant moment in my life that's all wrapped up in fear. Okay. In this moment, I will not discuss it, but in the future, I surely will. Okay. Because this is a big one. But I've been thinking about fear. I come on here and I talk about like knowing yourself, really taking a look at the self and going, who am I? What am I about? What are those things that I actually enjoy? What are the things that actually bring me joy? Instead of performative things that we're told, you know, are good or bring us joy or something like that. It's about being connected to the self. And this is really like the biggest thing that I've learned in my life, I think, altogether. Okay. And so I talk about it because I think it's important, but I understand that it's fearful work. It can be fearful work. I think if we would go back to who I was 7 years ago, and if I were to say to that person, you need to really look at yourself, really examine yourself and get to know yourself, I'd be like, fuck no. There's no fucking way. Okay. Really, with that kind of like intensity, I was so afraid of what I was going to find in there because I knew I could feel it. There's all this emotion in there. And I didn't know if I could handle it, if I could, I don't know, what would happen. Would I disintegrate, become nothing? I had no idea. Also, like, if I get to know what I'm actually feeling there, that would put me in a position where I'd have to make choices, right? I'd have to make active choices instead of passive ones and go, okay, I know now that I am unhappy, that I'm sad, that I'm heartbroken, that I'm miserable, that I'm hopeless, but I don't want to have to deal with it. So I'm going to continue to pretend that everything is fine, right? Regardless of what it looked like from the outside, I'm just going to keep doing what I think I want to do in this moment, which is pretend, right? Or I'd have to make choices about like, how do I get out of this? Also, can I get out of this? Do I have the skill? You know, do I have the wherewithal? Like, is this something that is even possible to do? I've never been here before. I've never been in this stage of life before. I've never had this amount of darkness all around me. So how, like, what? Okay. And recently I came across a thought. It was like, we really should stop saying that we are afraid of doing something that is new, right? We should instead go, this is unfamiliar to me. This work, I've never done it before, so I don't know what it's about. And I really like that, right? Because it frames things in a different way, right? Instead of feeling like, as if we put that word fear on it, and dude, fear can be in it, but if we frame it in this is what it is, meaning there's nothing else to it other than fear, right? Then it makes it so that we go, all those questions, am I capable? Can I even do this? And then it may give us that inclination to want to shy away from it and go, no, I'm not going to do it because I am afraid. Instead, having a more adventurous spirit, right? A more curious nature, and just say, well, I've never been in this place before. And so because it's unfamiliar, okay, I feel a certain amount of unsurety. I feel a certain amount of apprehension, but let's investigate, dude. We don't have to conquer this thing all in one day. Let's just start with a little bit of self-examination. Maybe we just make a list of what are the things that I feel like in this moment are overwhelming me, and just put it down on paper. Okay. And then it doesn't mean that you have to tackle every single thing right then and there. Right. But get curious, dude, and spend some time. Just choose one, even if it's like the simplest one in your mind to deal with. Look at that one thing, isolate it from the bigger list, and go, okay, let's really look at this. What is this thing? Okay, what is my fear and concern attached to this thing? Okay, and whatever it is, then you go, well, what would it mean to me if that were to come to pass? And that would, dude, having that moment of silence and that moment of reflection is quite revealing. It is quite revealing. Okay. And then take it a step further and go, okay, well, what would it mean if that were to happen? Okay. What I need to do is I'm going to give an example. Let's say I've given this example before and it's not to do with me at all. Let's say that I had told my family that I wanted to be a dental hygienist. It's not my story. This is not anything I've ever been interested in. Okay. I'm just trying to give an example. Okay. So you tell your family you want to be a dental hygienist. You start to take classes and you go, oh shit, this is really not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not interested. I've already started to take these classes. Money was spent. I have told my family that I'm going to be a dental hygienist. They've told everybody else that I'm going to be a dental hygienist. But it turns out, no, I don't want to do that. So what do? I feel sort of trapped. Okay. And so then you take that and you go, okay, if I told my family that it turns out I made a mistake, I don't, or even not, I made a mistake, but I've learned something about myself. I don't like teeth. I don't want to deal with the public. I don't want to, study science, whatever it is, right? Okay, so what would it mean? What do you think it would mean if you shared that with your family? What would it mean? Well, it means that they would be disappointed in me, and they wouldn't trust me in the future when I say that I'm going to do something. Maybe they think that I will not be reliable, and that I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough to make my dreams come true. But it's just me realizing that it's not my dream, not anymore. I've changed. Okay, so then what would it mean if your family felt that, you were unreliable to make your dreams come true? Well, I think it would mean that my, I think it would mean that, I've been fighting my whole life to prove that I am good enough. And it would be a confirmation that I'm not good enough. Okay. What would it mean to you if your family believed that you were not good enough? Well, I think it would be like a confirmation of my biggest fear. Okay. And so then in that moment, you can have a moment of revelation and go, but wait a minute. Are you good enough? Right? And then you might have a moment of reflection where you go, no, I can think of time X, Y, and Z where I was able to make my dream come true. Okay. But it's just that this is not my dream anymore. So why should I invest energy into it if it's not ultimately what I want to do? Right? And so doing an exercise like that, where it takes you down a sort of rabbit hole, it will help you to get to know yourself in a different way. Okay. And all of a sudden, all the fears that are wrapped up in whatever it is that you're considering, dude, they may start to lose their strength on you. They may start to lose their hold on you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to sort of present that thought because I don't know. I found it particularly powerful to just have the attitude of like, I have a thing that I need to accomplish and I'm feeling intimidated, but it's just because it's unfamiliar. It's a new process. And so I'm going to take inventory and say, what is this process like? Because in the future, if you go down the same path over and over again, you may become an expert in that path, right? And so just because it's the first time, yeah, there may be fumbles that are attached to it or whatever. Uh, but it doesn't mean that you will not become proficient even in that thing. My sort of goal for myself is to become proficient in just sort of being fearless and being a badass. And yeah, every single time there's this new thing that's unfamiliar to me that I just go, let's fucking go. Let's figure out how to figure this thing out. Right? Because I may not be an expert on walking down this path, but dude, I am an expert at figuring out paths. Okay. And so let's fucking go. And so the more that we do that, the more that we kind of shift our attitude and just do the difficult things. Okay. The better prepared we will be to navigate the ups and downs of life. But more than that, dude, it's like to have adventures and do greater things because we will not be afraid, right? We won't be afraid of like how things will look. I will look like a failure if I start this thing and then decide that I don't want to go down that path. Actually, at some point we go, I don't give a fuck. Okay. I learned something about myself. I hate teeth or whatever it is, right? Now I know I shouldn't consider anything that has to do with teeth. I don't want to be a dentist, for example. I don't want to be a person that makes, grills or whatever. It doesn't matter, dude. Whatever it is, the point is that we are learning things about ourselves and we are being accepting of who we are and not being so concerned about other people and how they may or may not assess our own judgment, dude, because our judgment is good. We need to be so self-aware that we go, who knows more about me than me? So I'll make choices that are right for me. And that's what it is, Anyway, that was sort of topsy-turvy. I hope it made sense. Until next time, see y'all.